Hey, everybody, welcome back for day 47 of 100 Days of Halloween. How are you? Today is Sunday, and so I know most of you who have had the weekend off. I hope you had a great weekend and enjoyed some fun and maybe some family time or some much needed crafty and crochet time. So, 100 Days of Halloween, what am I doing? Well, my lovely yarny friend and sister, Ranee, over at the Woolly Llama Shop, back in July during a live, had had a little conversation with several of us that she was wanting to do a blanket for the 100 Days of Halloween. And her idea, since it's so hot in the South, that when it started, she wanted to do it in bite-sized pieces or 6 inch by 6 inch ish granny squares or squares. And that way it wasn't this huge blanket that continued to grow all at once. And because we knew it was going to be too hot. And each square would have a theme or a design element or fall Halloween colors, etc. I thought it was a brilliant idea. And I decided I was going to join in with her in solidarity because I had been wanting to make one for the past several years, just didn't have a chance. And this was the perfect opportunity, and gave me a good excuse because who other than the fun loving Rainy than to join in and do this crazy idea for 100 squares in 100 days to build a blanket, right? So that's what I did. That's what we did. And some other crazy fun loving and very creative yarny sisters and have also joined us, and that is Nova over at Nova Gnome Creations and Patricia over at the Yarny Cat Crochet. They, however, are not making blankets. They are doing entirely different projects. Nova is making wearables for her and some near and dear loved ones, littles in her life, and herself, I believe. And Patricia has already made one project. And I think a little birdie in a video yesterday made mention that she is working on a second project. Her first one was an accessory. The video information is in the description box. Go check that out, and I can't wait to find out what her second project is. So, yes, 100 squares in 100 days to build this 100 Days of Halloween blanket. And I am having so much fun. Rainey is doing hers a little bit different. She is more structured because she does have a at-home business that is very busy, and she does work very long hours on the weekends. So therefore her structure has to be, yeah. And she had shaken up the interwebs and compiled this big list of all different kinds of squares that are either Halloween or fall themed or have appliques, etc. Compiled this list. Each one correlates with a number that she is drawing at random from her jinxed jack-o'-lantern of joy, and providing you guys with a free square or applique every single day, except for Fridays where she draws the weekend ones as well because she's working. But she makes sure you get them so that if you want to make them, you can work on them. I, however, am throwing caution to the wind. Whatever creative inspiration strikes me is how I'm doing my squares. Sometimes I am inspired by Rainy or Nova or you guys from some of your suggestions in the description box. And some of it is just from scouring the interwebs and finding things that strike my fancy. And if I can't find a square or an applique, I'm freehanding and just winging it and seeing how it comes out. The only thing that we are doing a little different than we were in the beginning is I had been making the blank squares in advance, and I had this huge pile that was really stacking up. We were very close to having all of the 100 squares we needed, and since then I have completed those, and I think I've added a few more. And we ended up throwing them in a large shopping tote, which did not work out very well to draw from at random. In hindsight, it wasn't a good idea because it was too flimsy. So we transitioned over to a cardboard box that has a hole cut in the top and it is sealed shut. And we are drawing squares every day at random from the Boo Box of Fate. So there's the there's the rundown for all of you that are new here because we do have several new. So we have completed days 1 through 10, 11 through 20, 21 through 30, 31 through 40, and we are now working on our group of 10 of 41 through 50. So we are almost to the halfway point, guys. Almost. And for those of you who are new, if you haven't noticed, I do have some shorts that for each group of 10 squares that I have completed, before I add them into my blanket that I've already started, and I have a hair on me, um, I am making a video short as kind of like a 10 square recap. And that way we have it all down before they get added into the blanket and get jumbled up. So there we go. There's the recap. So days 41 through today, day 47, let's check out and see where I started with number 41 and work our way up to today so we can see what square it was. Because we draw the square out at random and it was green yesterday. And I know you guys are wondering, what did Missy put on it? Or did she leave it plain? I don't know. We'll have to see. So, day 41, we had drawn this cool square that is this Sirdar spiral from the Sirdar Halloween blanket crochet along off of sirdar.com. That cal has ended. However, and I keep forgetting to check to make sure, I think the videos are still in place, the tutorials for the parts. And I think you, I'm not sure if you can still sign up for them to email you the written patterns. I think you can go in and download them on their site though. So, because my kit where I had ordered it from took forever to get here and it kept getting delayed along the way. And no, it was not from overseas, it was only 2 states away. It came from Michigan. So, I don't know what the deal was with, yeah, the carrier, whatever, but it took forever to get here. So by the time it did get here, I did not get it started. I was so far behind. And that was okay because we had started our squares. And I'm having so much fun with this that that blanket can wait. It can come at another time. Not worried about it. It's not going anywhere. So that was the Sirdar spiral. All that just for that. So then that day, we drew out of the Boo Box of Fate for the next day an orange square, a very deep, bright orange square. And I was inspired by one of the guesses you guys, not one of you, but several of you had been putting in the comment section from day to day. It had kept coming up a lot. So I was like, you know what? We're going to do it. We're going to do it. So we did the haunted house. And I could not find an applique pattern because I'm trying not to do paid for. And all it was a square. I did a couple little squares and then put the cross hatches for the windows. Did a triangle, a bigger one. Did a little rectangle up here, another triangle, a little circle, a circle for the moon, which looks like it's got a smirk with the embroidered bats. And of course, I had to have a ghosty coming out. So, yes, all of the information for whatever squares are in this group of 10 will be in the description box. And if it's freehanded, I will let you know. That way, you can't find a pattern for it on the interwebs. So, there was day 42. Then, day 43, well, that day for day 43, we drew out because we're drawing a day before to give me time to work on it overnight for the next day. We drew out this Red Heart Super Saver in neons, the jumbo stripes. And I tried several appliques that I have kind of made up in advance, and everything was just kind of getting lost. You either lost the colors or you were losing the applique. So we decided to leave it blank at this point. If I decide later on, which is fine because we got a lot going on in this blanket. If you're new here, I'll do a real quick sneaky peek of how far we are on the blanket being put together so far, and you will see. So these busy little colorful squares are just an added bonus, even though it doesn't have an applique. So we went with it. Then on for day 44, we had drawn out this like hot pink fuchsia sparkly square. And because it was a plain square, I had decided that we were going to draw out some of your guys's suggestions and guesses out of my curses and spells jar and see what we came up with and if it was doable. And it nearly did me in, and I did manage to get it, even though every waking hour I was working on it right up until filming for the next day. And yeah, but we managed it. We did this little mummy, and the mummy is trick or treating with its little pumpkin bucket. And as you can tell, I did use 1/8 of an inch ribbon. And because I thought using the chain method for some yarn would work, and he was going to look like this Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. So we weren't going there. So that was day 44. For day 45 square, we drew out some more Red Heart Super Saver jumbo stripes, but it was in the brights, the same yarn that I'm using to join on my squares. And I had made up several. I had used a whole skein minus a smidgy bit because it wasn't enough to complete a square. At the very beginning, because I liked how the colors were flowing and all of the squares were different, we drew one of those out, and it had a very dark center, as you can tell right here. So I felt comfortable putting this little ghosty with a pink, fuchsia, hot pink, whatever, sparkly, which was the same yarn from this square, a little bow on her head, and it matches really well. So I like how that came out. So we went with it. And then for day 40, is that up to 46? 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, day 46 at random. And I don't know what was going on and how this even happened because we've been shaking that box for almost a month. Well, no, not a month, about 2.5, almost 3 weeks. Um, we ended up drawing a square that was from the same yarn from when I was doing it, and I had done one of the squares differently. And as you can tell, this one ended with this like a few stitches of orange. Well, then the next square I started with the orange, but I did it in C2C just to see what it would look like. And yes, it's been in the box, mixed all around, shook all around, and how we got the sister square, I have no idea, but we did. And with the colorway and everything, I was kind of loving how it was going. At this point right now, I'm leaving this one blank, but if I do, because you guys know how I am with inspiration, and if something hits me and I feel like it needs to go on this square, any of the other squares that I've left like this because of the colors, then it will go on there and we will revisit it at that point in time. So we left her there. So this was yesterday's square, and I love these colors. I love how they play well together. So what did we draw out yesterday for a blank square? It was green, right? Oh, and you might have just seen a sneaky peek of what's on it. Oops. We drew that green. Or we in green. Um, and I sat and thought about it last night, and we had to run to another town because I was on a mission to Hobby Lobby since it was the 30% off yarn week. Because I had to get some certain colorways of cotton that for some odd reason I don't have a whole lot of or any of in my stash anymore. I don't know. And I don't remember using them in the Wednesday wipeouts, but who knows? Um, but so I was trying to figure out what to put on the green. And I was like, well, when we get home, because we stopped and had dinner because we were out of town, I was like, I'm just going to sit and look at the square and let the square tell me what it needs. And within 10 minutes, it did. Um, Basically, it was screaming at me that it needed this certain thing. So, and we don't have any of this on the blanket yet. And it's been on my wanna do list, and I keep thinking that it wasn't right for one of the squares, and this time it said it was. So we did a sunflower. Yep. This square needed a sunflower, and I've got thread. Yes. And I love it. This was so super easy. It wasn't actually an applique pattern, it's a coaster pattern. And it's free, of course, because we're trying to provide you guys with freebies. Let me pull it up. Um, it's actually from Hooked on Patterns, the hookedonpatterns.com. And the design was by Ling Ryan. And when you look it up, that is what you will find. I will put the link in the description box. And because it's coasters, there is also a clickable thing for a sunflower basket that you could use for just a regular basket to put candies or, whatever in, trinkets, or you can put your sunflower coasters in it if you decide to make the sunflowers. And that is the basket, and it looks like she's got some low wrapped candies in there. I will put the information for both of them in the description box. Um, but when you're on the coaster pattern, it goes down and it says you can find the sunflower basket here, and you just click on it. It goes straight to there. But I will try and put both of them. If the basket doesn't work, know that there is still a clickable thing in the sunflower coaster. And once again, that was by hookedonpatterns.com, and the designer was Ling Ryan. And it was super simple, a very quick make. I really enjoyed making this. I'm actually considering making the coasters once we get this make along done, maybe, depending. Um, but this would also, um, when we go on vacation at the end of the month, these would be easy car projects right here. So we'll see. We'll see what I'll be working on, because I know I got to do some squares while we're going. Yes, I do. Because even though we're on vacation, them squares still got to get busted out, right? So there was day 47, guys. Um, so because I have a bunch of new people, thank you for joining in. I will show you real quick where we are on the blanket. And how I decided to do my blanket was join them in a C2C fashion, starting in the bottom corner. And that way, and I'll show you these for instance, like start with your bottom corner square, and then you join right here, and then right here, because rather than doing all in a line, you're going to have all these seams and 50 million ends to weave in. By doing it in a corner by corner, all I do is start here and then go up. So I only have the beginning and the end seam. And even the further that we get in, uh-oh, did I just mess these up? There we go. The further that I get in, by adding them all, it's just where you start and you continue up by adding squares. I just make sure I have enough to make the whole entire row. And that way I only have the beginning end to weave in and the very end one at the end of that row. So I am saving a lot of yarn, a lot of time, and I'm loving how the colors from this are flowing. And the join that I'm doing, I had gotten the idea from Sam over at Memphis Makes. And apparently she got the idea from Christina at Bella Uncinetto. So thank you both for talking about those. And I'm going to tell you that join is such a joy. I know a lot of people hate joining granny squares together. They, if they love making granny squares, they hate the joining part because it takes forever. This does not. I am loving it, and I think I will forever and always use this join because I love it that much, and I am really enjoying the process. But it's a slip stitched zigzag join. So you go back and forth on each stitch and it creates a slip stitch zigzag, and it looks so cool. See? And it doesn't pop up hardly at all like a regular seam would, but look how that is. So here's where we are so far on our C2C granny square style put together blanket. We've got 8, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes. We've got so far 8 going up and 8 across on the bottom, and we're just putting them together as we have enough to add C2C style. And there we are on the bottom. And we are very close to having enough to add another row going. Yep. I am loving it. I am so glad that Ranee had this idea to do this blanket. It is so much fun. And oh, folding it up is another story because we're getting a lot of stuff going on here. All right, there we go. So that's that until we get another row on there. And then once we do, I will show it again. So yeah, let's draw another square for tomorrow out of the Boo Box of Fate. And here's our Boo Box of Fate. No, it still is not decorated. I did get some things, but I have to get some clear contact paper so that I make sure that they stay on. And then it will be decorated. We might get it done before the end of the 100 days, right? So let's shake her up and let's pull. Let's dig around. Oh, okay. This is different. I don't think we've had one like this. I know this is Big Twist. I can't think of the colorway. And to me, it gives me candy corn vibes. So we know we won't be putting probably a candy corn on here because it'll probably get lost. It starts off with this orangish yellow and then goes to a brighter kind of orange and then is trimmed out in more of a yellow. So yeah, definitely giving candy corn vibes. And we don't have one of these in the blanket yet. So this is new. This is new. So what do you guys think should go on here? Let's put some guesses in the comment section. And I totally forgot to read your guys' comments again. What did you guys think we were going to put on yesterday's square for today? Let's see. Ranee at the Woolly Llama Shop said a poison apple or plain apple. She said, "We're doing great. Keep up the fabulous work. Thank you, sis." Debbie Van Rensburg said, "The color of envy." So I'm guessing something witchy. Um, and then Sam said, "Hi, Missy. I'm guessing a toad." So we totally went way off the mark, didn't we? Nobody got that one. But some fun ideas. Fun ideas. So that was yesterday's guesses for today's square. And we ended up doing a sunflower. And I think it's so pretty. So pretty for a coaster, right? But hey, I didn't want something little dinky and everything. You know me. That blanket is pow. So, alrighty, guys. Put your guesses in the comment section as to what you think will be going on the square tomorrow. And like we've been doing, I won't open it up and read them until I get on in a video for this square and see if anybody guessed it and how close they got. So I guess with that, I'm going to let you guys go. Um, I'll be videoing a yarn haul later. Um, and I have some other packages to open too. So, hopefully we'll get a chance to do that in a little bit. So, I guess with that, I'm going to let you guys go. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we will see you back tomorrow for day 48. So, with that, I love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.